Hey, everybody, welcome to Big Blend Radio's Vacation Station, second Tuesday food, wine, and travel show with the International Food, Wine, Travel Writers Association. And I say second Tuesday because we are a little different. Every second Friday, we were doing two different shows with the International Food, Wine, Travel Writers Association. And now that Big Blend Radio is Sunday through Friday, so daily. Our time is at 4 p.m. Pacific time is when we have a new episode. We decided that our Travel Tuesdays need to have travel in them. So today I'm very excited. Nancy and I are welcoming back our friends from the Palm Springs Preferred Small Hotel Group. And, this is really cool when you think about small hotels, boutique hotels. It's something like bed and breakfast, something that Nancy and I really are behind as we travel the country on our Love Your Parks tour. And Palm Springs, we chatted with them last year, right in the middle of the wonderful pandemic, and so excited to have Kimberli back on and Karina. So Kimberli, how are you doing?
We're doing great. All of our hotels are open, and they're handling the pent up demand with their usual grace and enthusiasm, and really enjoying seeing people coming through Palm Springs again.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I wanted to also make sure, Kimberli Munkres, I was going to say Mumbres there. I'm sorry, I was going to give you a new name. But Kimberli is, she's from the Palm Springs Preferred Small Hotels. So am I right in the website? It's Palm Springs Preferred Small Hotels.com.
Yes, or authenticpalmsprings.com.
Ooh, I like nice. That. I like that.
And the reason that is because it was really the small hotels, the small boutique hotels that put Palm Springs on the map as a destination for deep R&R,
Well, speaking of that, we've got Karina Castaneda back with us. She is from Los Arboles Hotel and El Mirasol Restaurants. Welcome back. How are you, Karina?
Thank you. I am well. Thank you for having me. Pleasure to be here.
Good to have you back. And last time you were doing all kinds of different things to keep things moving forward during the pandemic. So first thing, but before we get into that, how are things now? But give everyone your website, both of them.
Yes, our website for the hotel is losarboleshotel.com, and for the restaurant, El Mirasol Rest, REST.com. And we're doing pretty good. We kept open as much as we could, shut down for the summer for the hotel, did takeout delivery during the summer for the restaurant. And now we're back full swing of things. It looks like everything's going to fully open in I think 2 weeks, so we're excited about that. Just cool. Season's kind of coming down. Memorial Day weekend just happened, so traditionally in the desert that's the end of season. Summer comes in, but who knows what happens this year. I think it's gonna be good. I'm really excited. The summer's here.
Well, yeah, you've got swimming pools, right? So Palm Springs, you can go sunbathe, go swimming, so there's a lot to do. And it's kind of like, Kimberli, I wanted to touch on this too. You think about travelers going to Vegas, and some desert areas are like, okay, we close in the desert, in the summer. And I'm like, no, there's things to do in the desert in the summer. And to me, one of my favorite things is getting up when the sun rises and, taking an early morning walk. And, when it gets really, really hot, that's siesta time.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That's when it's time to go take a nap,
Yeah.
Yes, and there are actually always there are things to do in the desert. We've recently launched a new newsletter that includes things to do in the newsletter. So if you go to our website, you can subscribe to our newsletter as well. And we now have a monthly column written by the fabulous Kay Kudakis, who is an amazing writer, and she knows all the inside things that are happening in Palm Springs in the summer.
So let's talk a little bit about some of your favorites, because I think this is exciting for people, knowing that they're getting out and about. I know, Kimberli, before we started recording, you were talking about the location. I was thinking you're not far from Vegas, so people coming into Vegas can come down to Palm Springs and have that whole experience. I mean, Liberace did them both. Come on. so you can too, but you're close to LA, San Diego, Arizona. So I mean, do you see a lot of traffic just because you're so close to all these cities?
We do. We're really very perfectly positioned because we're within basically an hour and a half to 4 hours of a number of heavily populated areas. And you've mentioned all of them. And we're also a day's drive from the Bay Area. So May and June tends to sock in with fog on the coast a lot. So we get a lot of people who are just ready for a break in the fog, and they'll just drive on down and come on out to Palm Springs. And then people in the Pacific Northwest, they'll do a road trip down, and we get a lot of people out of the Portland and Seattle area because we have direct flights right in, the Palm Springs airport is a classic, cute little airport. And so we get a lot of people who fly down, and we get a lot of people who actually drive down, and we're sort of their southern destination before they turn around and go back home.
You talk about airplanes. Do you get a lot of private planes? People with their private planes. I was going to say they're pilots, but I know that even when we used to live in the desert, people would fly in from across the country and say, oh, we're going for our favorite breakfast or something. Do you see that happen in Palm Springs?
Yes.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
I believe that there's an airport in Bermuda Dunes that's a private airport, and people have their jets out there. The people that have jets, which is really cool.
I want a jet.
I know. I'm like leaving on a jet plane. That would make it a lot easier for us, Nancy.
I know.
And then a number of airlines have added new direct flights. We have direct flights, in addition to our usual, out of Chicago, New York, Colorado, et cetera. Sacramento, we have a direct flight out of Sacramento now, and one out of Florida. We're doing really well. We're seeing a lot of traffic.
I think cool. International traffic is starting to happen too. It's a little slower. And Palm Springs, I mean, I know all my European friends love the desert, just like my Northwest friends, right, Nancy? They're always like, we got to go to the desert. It's not something we see every day. And right now we're up in the Pacific Northwest, and we did go through that June gloom. It was in May and June, like you were saying. And then we're like, dude, we need the sunshine. We're like, you girls, like we're used, I'm sunburned now because apparently the Northwest also likes to suddenly turn 90 degrees. And so that's the first thing we did was run out in the sunshine. And we said, we're not working today because there's sunshine. we miss the desert. But I think a lot of people, when you're in, it's just, you want that change of scenery, and it's very drastic, and it's super cool. Even though it's hot, it's super cool. But
it's wide open spaces. We spend a lot of time on the eastern side of the states, and it's beautiful, but it's a little closed in. And so then when you get out to the desert, suddenly everything's big and wide, and you can relax. You don't feel so crowded.
Yeah. That's
and a lot of people, they just like to come out. You were talking earlier about the swimming pools. Every single one of these hotels have just beautiful swimming pools. And a lot of people just come and veg by the pool. I mean, they might go out for dinner. A lot of the restaurants still do takeout and delivery, and people are just, because people are tired in some way, the people are having to rejuvenate.
Emotional stress. I think the pandemic created a lot of emotional stress, and
for sure.
And also people just need to be outside. I mean, that's the one thing we want out, and we want to be able to relax, Karina, what, with you in the hotel and the restaurants opening up and everything, are you seeing, people come in as just like, hey, I need like a 2-day getaway. I need outside. I want by the pool. Just kind of, I think they're making life-changing decisions too. So they need outside.
Absolutely. Everyone wants to be outside, by the pool, hanging out, taking a dip. I also see a lot of people who are still working from home come in for 1 to often about 3 to 4 days during the week. So let's say they don't want to work from their apartment in the city. they'll come out to the desert, and you'll see them on their laptop by the pool, you know, working from boutique hotels. So I do see people who just want to be outside, you know, whether they're just sitting outside, meditating, reading by the pool, going on a walk in the morning. You know, and Palm Springs it's a perfect place to be outside.
It's always had a reputation as a healing environment, you know, from a, you know, kind of body, mind, spirit healing environment. And it's also a great place for people who are very creative to become inspired. All the hotels are so unique and different that, you know, everybody kind of matches their vibe, but there's so much public art, you know, you could just, you know, there are really significant public art projects happening in Palm Springs right now. And so the creative class of people really enjoy it because they can get inspired in new, deep ways.
No, that's something we cover really a lot is public art, because especially when the pandemic started, we were like, you know what, that's one thing people can do, whether they're walking or driving. And even right now, I think it's still, and it's just great. I mean, when you go to a city or a town and you can see them with murals and sculptures, and you know that the town is taking care of the town, that it wants beautification. So you're already feeling like, ooh, that's really cool. And it's a treasure hunt. It's a better, you know what? It's like, it's a really cool way for families too, to go on this treasure hunt and get to know an area, you know, with GPS now. Like, I used to do everything by a map, and it was only a year ago that we got lost in Lubbock. and and I was so
Really
anti
lost.
GPS and everything. I was just one of those people. I was even one of those very last people to get a smartphone or even a cell phone. I'm like, no, I'll drive through the desert. I don't care if I, you know, get a flat tire. But then life changes, you know, and you have to grow up out of that. And we got lost in Lubbock, and I was like, okay, GPS, fine. And thank goodness her name is Jane, because of Jane Says, the song Jane's Addiction. Anyway, so now it's a good thing. So we're on time everywhere. And she does take us in very weird places. However, we get so what I can't believe that now I'm realizing that I really don't understand the layout of a place anymore from doing the GPS. And the public art is what actually forced, like, it's like, oh, go back to it. Now you understand a city or a region again, and kind of understand that where's the historic downtown, why is the historic downtown there, where, you know, what are the mountains, and instead of just GPSing it everywhere. And you still use your GPS to find the art a lot of times, but that treasure hunt, you know, those maps and everything that you can see, you start to understand an area better. So I'm glad you guys have a lot. Do you know, like, how many pieces of art you have?
Oh,
well, you know, yes, Kim? Oh,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, last year, the art in town really exploded because the Palm Springs Art Commission, there was a grant for artists to create art during COVID. So one of the major pieces in the downtown area is a lot of, actually not all, I think all of the benches got painted by a different artist in their own in their own design, their own, you know, type of art. So it's kind of like a treasure hunt. You can sit at every different bench and there's a different art to it. So there's still more art coming up this year. But yes, last year during COVID, because of that grant in the city, there's just way more art than there was last year. And something special about the desert is there's a biannual event called Desert X that happens, and it just happened this year, where artists from all over the world create structures and pieces throughout the desert. So it is just like you said, just like a scavenger hunt, and you can go. It'll take you all the way down to the east end of the valley, to Mecca, to Desert Hot Springs, here in town too. Some really, really amazing pieces. Like there's a piece just at the entrance by a Native American called it's like the Hollywood sign. It says Indian land on it. So it's very reflective. Like, hey, you know, this is Indian land. I said this is Native land. So that happens every 2 years. So we'll have a Desert X again, I believe, in 2 years. But like I said, art has really expanded in the last year in town, where it's murals, painting on the benches, different businesses have also added more art outside of their locales. But yeah, it's a really nice scavenger hunt for sure.
I think it
It's
connects
really
you also.
welcoming.
Yeah, it's welcoming, but
Yeah.
it'll connects you. Like Joshua Tree is such a
Mhm.
huge art area too, and Joshua Tree National Park. It kind of is that connecting thing with Palm Springs, the whole desert. That whole. You kind of have that lower desert going into the Mojave Desert, so you have that whole different vibe of what's going on. But it's really, when you think about going to Palm Springs and people staying at the hotels, you're having this unique boutique experience, but then you could go for a day drive. You could do a bunch of day drives from where you are and get out in nature, go hiking. You've got so many more national monuments too, just outside your doorstep, where people can go explore in nature. And one thing in summertime, and I've noticed, just when we used to live out that way, in summer, look up. If you get up early in the morning and you go for an early morning hike or an evening hike, go towards where the water areas are and look up, because you will probably see bighorn sheep. This is the time to see bighorn sheep in the desert, and I miss them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're the wildlife, because, and that's what makes Palm Springs so, I think, charming, is you've got that indoor outdoor living experience. The indoors and the outdoors is so intertwined, and and the mountains are right there. You walk out and you cannot miss the mountains. They are always there. And I will say too, the tram is taking reservations, so people can go up to the top of the mountain. Palm Springs has that rotating tram. And if you want to get up close to wildlife, you've got the whole park up there as well, with hiking trails. And it's in the summertime. I always tell people, I know you won't believe this, but bring a jacket or a sweater, because you're going up 8,000 feet and it gets cold up there. But
Sounds good.
It's beautiful, beautiful park trails up there. And so it is definitely worth going up to the top of the mountain.
Very nice. One thing we need to touch on too is shopping.
Yes.
Are shops open and ready? Because Palm Springs is known for shopping.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
The stores are open, the galleries are open. Everybody's happy to see everybody. It's really great. So yeah, everybody's open for business. Typically, if businesses are closed in the summertime, they tend to be closed on Mondays and Tuesdays. Wouldn't you say, Karina? Tuesdays tend to be the quietest day of the week. But
that's right.
The weekends are still really busy.
Well,
and we actually expect if people are coming to Palm Springs, I really recommend, even because summer is such an anomaly, I recommend making reservations, a couple weeks in advance. Because, I get all the emails from the hotel saying, hey, I've got people looking for a room tonight. Anybody got any availability? And so things are, even at this time of year, they're going to be really busy on the weekends.
Well, Karina, you were saying, people working from home are now working poolside, in Palm Springs. And so that's something I'm kind of hoping with the new normal of COVID is, I think a lot of people are shifting to being able to work from home. I know a lot of people that, hey, I'm going to Hawaii and doing, it's great because I can, work from any, you know what I mean? Anywhere in the country, around the world, they're doing it. And I'm hoping that a percentage of those folks get to continue doing it, because I think it will be really great for the tourism industry and for the visitors, right? It won't be as crowded. And one thing, as travelers during COVID, Nancy and I, it was really the quietest travel, less crowds, and sorry, but it was really nice. So I'm just saying, but if things were kind of balanced out that way, so weekends aren't always this big weekend, I think it's almost easier for businesses too. You can still schedule time to take off, obviously, but it'd be like, to me, I'd want to come on the Monday, Tuesday and say, okay, Monday, Tuesday, if the stores are closed, that's going to be my pool day. That's going to be my hiking day. And then be there for when people are open. So maybe it'll kind of balance out. So Karina, you're going to be working full time. I know you already do, but you know what I mean. So
I do. Yeah.
yeah.
Mondays are go outside days, catch up on your laundry or go get a massage, go watch a movie.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But a lot of places are open on Mondays and Tuesdays. There's just a handful that are closed on that day or those days, or like Tuesday, Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of the same thing, when you go to the beach. Like I normally take Mondays and Tuesdays off, and so I went to the beach and I said, oh no, they're closed and they're closed and they're closed. I said, well, we're closed too, but I guess I get it.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell everybody a little bit about the hotel, what they can expect in regards to the lodgings, the rooms, how many rooms you have.
Yes, at Los Arblas, we kind of say this thing, just come as you are. It's a very low key, relaxed atmosphere. No, you won't. How to describe this?
Very tranquil.
Yes, very very small, very relaxing spot. With almost like big resort amenities, because we have the pool, we have the jacuzzi, the restaurant's right there, but in a small, more intimate type of setting. So what people can expect is the pool open. We have 21 rooms, which they're not all fully open just yet. We're probably going to open them up in the next probably 2 to 3 weeks. We have 6 different room types, so we have a little bit of everything for everybody. We have a large suites, with a king bed, jetted tub, couple patios, dry bar, pull-out couch, extra living space. And then we have something as small as a little petite. So let's say you are that person that likes to be outside, go do this, go up to Joshua Tree, go watch the sunset up on the trail, like just get out and about. And all you need is a bed and a bathroom, shower, tub, whatever. That's a petite. And so it's going to be a lot more economical also. So we have a couple of those, and a lot of the young people really like them. They're more like European style rooms just because they're a bit smaller. And then we have a standard classic king bed express room. We have some that have patio, some with extended living space inside. So it's a little bit of everything for everybody,
I want the patio.
The patio. And there's a hammock in there too, so you can kind of hammock in there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And then so when the restaurant's open Wednesdays through Sundays, we do full room service. So let's say you're like, you know what? I'd rather have this in my room or in my private patio. No problem. We can deliver it all to your room, all that, margaritas by the pool. So it's
Nancy.
a very low-key, relaxed place. What you probably won't find is like a big, loud club party type atmosphere by the pool. Probably not here. But there are places in town if you are looking for that. But if you're looking for just more relaxed, kind of easygoing vibe, come as you are type of place, then this is the spot for you. But also, because of our location, you really don't need your car really. You can Uber, Lyft, taxi from the airport to here, and you can just walk everywhere. There's a bunch of different restaurants, boutiques, galleries. We have bikes you can rent and take out to a trail too. So it's a very conveniently located spot. That being said, when you're outside, you of course will get some, classic road noises. The road's right there. It's not going to be like a cottage in the woods where you can hear a pin drop. But yeah, so that's what you'll expect here at Los Arblas. Come
Nice.
as you are, very easygoing, relaxed atmosphere. Yeah.
Cool. I love to hear, the different styles too. Kimberli, how many hotels are part of the group?
We have about 75 hotels.
Wow.
And so, yes, we're an association of only boutique hotels within Palm Springs, itself.
Wow.
So, and they really do vary. We have historical properties. We have a lot of mid-century modern properties. We have Mediterranean style. We have contemporary. We have clothing optional properties. We have properties that cater to gay men. We have properties that are great for families. We have properties that are really wonderful for women. We have a lot of properties that really are great for solo women travelers.
Oh, wow.
Palm Springs is such a great destination if you're a woman who likes to just get out and travel. It's super safe. People are really friendly. I highly recommend it. For solo women travelers.
And we're seeing more of that happen. I mean, as we travel, I mean, we're doing like the small hotels as well, like we were saying, in inns, a lot of that. And then we pet sit. And a lot of times who we're sitting for, women out there going, I'm getting out, and off we go. Maybe they'll meet with other friends later, but they have a portion that they want to experience on their own. And I think, Nancy, wouldn't you say the last 10 years, we've pretty much seen a rise in women traveling on their own?
For sure.
Yeah.
It's a significantly growing segment of the travel market.
Yes.
And I think COVID has really increased that, because as you mentioned, as you were talking earlier, people are doing a lot of soul searching right now, and this last year has been an opportunity to go inward. And what do people want out of life? And we see a lot of people coming through Palm Springs who are just, I've sold everything and I'm traveling now. And, it's great. We welcome all types in Palm Springs. Palm Springs is highly diverse and a very interesting place for people to visit.
That's awesome.
Hey, Kim.
I know.
Wouldn't you say we're a little spoiled with all the different boutique hotels? Like, I know when I travel, I'll try and stay at a boutique hotel. So I'm on Google, name of city, boutique hotels. I'm like trying to find them, because here, you type in boutique hotels Palm Springs and there's a whole website that shows all of them.
Yeah.
And I wish other cities had that too.
Yes.
A good point.
We have one of the highest concentrations of boutique hotels per square mile in the country. I mean, when you think about Palm Springs having a population, like a technical population of about 46,000, and we have 75 boutique hotels.
Yeah.
I mean, that is an extraordinary concentration of boutique hotels for a town this size.
Well, I like that
kind of
they're all in one
European.
place. Go ahead, Nancy. Sorry.
No, I was saying that's kind of European.
Yes.
Having boutique hotels equal to or even a few more than the major chain hotels.
Yeah. And the other thing that's really important to remember is when you stay in a boutique hotel, there's actually 2 or 3 things. When you stay in a boutique hotel, you're supporting a local economy. So a local dollar will turn over 6 or 7 times, as opposed to when you're staying in a multinational chain, that dollar only turns over like 1.5 times in the local economy. So when you stay in these locally owned boutique hotels, you're really, really supporting the local economy. And I think that's, for a lot of people, that's becoming increasingly more important.
Well, also people want the authentic travel. You're talking about like authenticity.
Right.
They want the authentic travel. I know even this last year, we did a lot of Route 66. And, it was even mostly in Albuquerque where we saw more and more of the motels popping up, the old school motels, and refurbishing themselves. And along the route, we tried really hard, just Karina, like what you're saying, trying to find like, okay, there should be that. I'm going to build a website. I'm going to go build a website right now just for that, because it really, we had a hard time. And sometimes they were only going through the other websites. I don't want to even name them. Please book directly through the hotels. But honestly, no, because it's true. If you want to cancel your reservation, you have to go back through the other big chain hotels. And I understand why they're there with those big, hotel.com people and all of that. I get it. But it's really getting hard for travelers that want to find that authentic experience. You have to go through, even on Google, how many listings to get to what you're trying to find.
Yes.
And then to figure out what their keywords are going to be, to type it in on Google and get what you want. So what you're doing with everybody being on one website is, I think, crucial. And it's crucial because part of the authentic experience should be an organization like yours going through that, and then going and having that communication with the hotel. but on that one trip, we couldn't even actually communicate one hotelier wouldn't even call back. I had to go through the big hotel thing. Anyway, I don't want to get into that, but I saw them not even, they need an association like you guys. Can you
Most
expand?
of the small hotels in Palm Springs will match their pricing. So if, their property is being advertised on one of those booking platforms for a certain amount, you could still call the hotel directly, and they usually, not always, but almost always will match that price. So you still get that bargain price, but the difference is the funds are going directly to the hotel as opposed to the platforms taking a percentage. And, the hotels are trying to make up for all those months of closures. When you're talking about the small hotels, being closed for about 6 months, it was really difficult. And we were closed. Palm Springs was closed at the peak of the season for both shutdowns hit us right in the peak. So we have hotels that are really, I love that advice. Book directly wherever you can.
Yes.
It's very important.
Yeah. Karina, do you agree with that? You're the hotelier and the restaurateur.
I do. And I try to practice what I preach. I took a solo road trip last summer. I had just had it, you get a little burnt out. I did last year with everything going on. And I found myself I was camping in Colorado, and
cool.
there was the campsite I was in was, there was what's that called? There was a fire, like a forest fire. So I had to leave, and I thought, it'll be gone soon. I'll be able to go back. So before I knew it, it's like that fire just got bigger and bigger. I ended up going to the Colorado National Monument, which is like on a plateau.
Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah.
That looks so pretty.
We went, that was one of the first places we went in May last year. Yeah. It's awesome.
It's so pretty. So there I was up on the monument and thinking like, oh, that fire is only getting bigger. The smoke just, it was terrible. But so then I went down because I got hungry, found a spot to eat, burger place. And there I was, like, all right, let's find a new place to camp, probably a hotel, given how close everything is, and all the campsites where I'm generally full by that time. So a table next to me was a family, and I said, hey folks, sorry to bother you, but do you by any chance know any like small boutique-y kind of local hotels, not a chain? And luckily one of the people said, oh, I know, my friends own this little spot in Palisade. Go check it out, Spoken Vine.
Oh yeah, they're awesome.
That's where we were.
We were in Palisade, but we didn't stay there. We were doing a bed and breakfast. Dancing Moon, and then Vistas and Views bed and breakfast, and we also did Palisade Base Camp. You should check that out next. You go there.
Oh, that's a cool place.
Spokes and Vines. Yeah, they renovated that place, and that was going on. Was it cool?
It was so cool. So there it was. Just a local recommendation. Didn't want to stay in a big box. 300 room spot, and I had the best time. It was great despite the circumstances. I found something cool, and it was really nice. So I can't wait to go back and check out other places. I'll have to hit you up though for the other spots.
There's we did a lot of bed and breakfast because it was the same kind of thing about especially after COVID. I feel like we've got to go back to protecting the small business as much as we can. And that's something that we're, as Big Blend, is really focused on, small business. And because, small business is the backbone of America. And we have these huge platforms kind of, we're going to help you, but are they really? Like, are musicians really getting paid from these streaming services? So we're kind of trying to do as much as we can. While everybody, I don't know, Nancy says one day it'll just be 5 big companies, but I don't want to get all political with all of it, but we don't want that. So whatever we can do, and these organizations that, like, the preferred, small hotel group here in Palm Springs, that really is so crucial. Your local chambers and visitor bureau is so crucial to help keep small business alive. And for us to have that authentic experience, going, it just is, just even the booking process, booking online or or not, when you're checking in, you want to have that, hey, tell me about your hotel. Like, who owned this? Where did it come from? There's history behind all these hotels, these small boutique hotels, motels, bed and breakfasts, inns, historic inns. The history is like fascinating. And to me, that's part of the American story. That is like who came where. And so it's something this past year as we traveled that it's dear to us,
Well, they have personality.
Mhm.
And, nothing against the big chains. Everybody has their
Oh, they're
purpose.
trying to change now too. Yeah.
Yeah, but the personality, the landscaping and the coloring of the hotels and the decor all lends to the experience. And then, if you're just going from one big chain hotel to another, you wake up and you don't even know where you are.
Mm.
It's interesting you say that, Nancy, because we've heard that over and over again, that when people stay in a boutique hotel,
Yeah,
it anchors them and it gives them a sense of place that they
Right.
can't get anywhere else. And you never wake up wondering where you are. I mean, you wake up at any one of these hotels, you're in Palm Springs,
Right.
And then there's another aspect, and that is a lot of people have a dream of opening up a hotel or a B&B. And so for many of the small hotels that are in our association, the owners, the hoteliers, have literally followed their dreams into the desert. So you are literally staying in somebody's dream.
Yeah.
And that is an amazing opportunity. You don't often have that opportunity.
Well, it's happening across the country. What we saw this past year was a lot of people on their second or third career. And as something husband and wives or, couples said, okay, we're done with the corporate thing. Let's do something we can work together. We enjoyed staying at hotels or whatever, in B&Bs, like you're saying. I don't want to knock the brand hotels, the big ones, because sometimes if you're doing conferences and stuff like that, sometimes you need that. So I'm not knocking them. And I do see them changing up. That's the other thing. I think they're realizing, the boutique hotels and the B&Bs and the inns, they're starting to like take our business because the traveler is dictating they want authenticity, they want a real experience. And so we're seeing them change their decor, so they're trying, and I think it's an interesting time. It really is. But wherever you can, just book direct and try and just connect with where you're going. That extra connection is special.
It really is. And the hoteliers, the people who run these hotels, they can direct you to whatever you need to do.
Yes.
I mean, if I want to know what's happening where and who to talk to, I'll get a hold of Karina. It's like, hey, Karina, what's going on?
Yeah, right.
And she always knows, who, microbrewery has just opened up or this or that. And it's pretty, the hoteliers are really on top of that. You seem to have lost her.
Oh, well, it's awesome. Well, listen, what I wanted to do is make sure we give out the correct websites. I hope she comes back. She'll come back, hopefully. You never know. She might be checking in a guest.
I know.
So
checking someone in.
She's like, hey, someone's here. Let's go. They're already hearing us and we haven't aired this yet. But anyway, give everyone the new website name.
It's authenticpalmsprings.com.
I like that.
And you can get to Los Arboles through there as well.
Okay.
So, and we really love to see you, sign up for our newsletter. You'll be able to find out everything that's happening. And I will send you some links regarding all the public art projects going on so people can, so they can get to that through you as well. Because there's some, I think that's just such a cool thing to do right now.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then I want to tell everyone too, the International Food Wine Travel Writers Association, speaking about associations that connect and get into the authentic experience. They're an amazing organization. If you're a travel writer, if you're a destination and an organization like the preferred, Palm Springs, is it preferred spa?
Palm Springs preferred small hotels. Yeah.
There we go. Organizations like yours, everyone coming together. I think they do an amazing job. They have a conference coming up in November, connecting writers and destinations and photographers. That's going to be out in St. Petersburg, Florida. So check that out. So the website is ifwtwa.org. We always say IFTWA. It's a lot. They got a big name too. So there it is that. But everyone, again, thank you for joining us here on Big Blend Radio. You can keep up with our shows and find your favorite podcast platform, whether you're listening or watching on YouTube or Facebook or Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, all of it. Check it out at bigblendradio.com. And be sure to sign up for our newsletter too, because we've also now expanded into going from 2 magazines to 9. So yippee, we need to come to Palm Springs and drink margaritas and make sure we get our magazines out on time.
You do. And let me tell you, Los Arboles Hotel, the restaurant at Los Arboles Hotel absolutely has amazing margaritas. And I have to say that the name of the restaurant is El Mirasol, and they also have the best, and I highly recommend this, they have the best homemade guacamole.
Oh, that's it.
Really, really good. So
That's
guacamole and margaritas, and you're in good shape.
There you go.
Good. And Bighorn Sheep up the hills.
And Bighorn Sheep.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Kim. And please tell Karina we say goodbye too.
Okay. Well, you take care, and thank you for having us.
Thank you.